You know, when you think about a machine running out of fuel, like, say, a car running out of gasoline, it's actually a very peaceful picture.
Right, yeah, it's very mechanical, very logical.
Exactly. I mean, the needle on the dashboard just quietly drops to empty,
Hmm.
the engine slowly stops running, and the car just, gently rolls to a stop on the side of the road.
Yeah, there's no panic in a machine. The fuel is gone, so the movement simply ends.
But the human body doesn't work that way at all, does it?
Not even a little bit, no.
Because when our internal fuel system gets confused, we don't just peacefully roll to a stop. We get headaches.
We absolutely do.
We lose our focus. We suddenly feel this intense, overwhelming need to eat an entire box of chocolate cookies at like 10:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, that mid-morning crash. We've all been there.
Right. And if we don't get those cookies, we feel like we might literally explode. I mean, the human dashboard doesn't just show empty. It flashes bright red warning lights, it rings loud alarm bells, and it creates this physical feeling of panic and exhaustion.
It's total chaos inside the body.
Total chaos. And that chaos is actually controlled by one single microscopic molecule. So welcome to this special deep dive. Today, we are exploring a really fascinating guide called the Glucose Rollercoaster, how blood sugar controls your energy, aging, and health.
It's such an important topic.
It really is. We're going to learn exactly how this tiny molecule controls your daily energy, your mood, and even, shockingly, how fast your physical body ages.
And before we really jump in, we want to make a quick note for our listeners. We know that many of you listening right now are actively learning the English language, so we are going to tailor this conversation specifically for you today.
Yes, absolutely. We are going to speak clearly. We will explain complex scientific ideas using very simple, easy-to-understand words.
Right, we won't rush through the biology. We will take our time exploring the science, and, we'll also naturally highlight some wonderful English vocabulary along the way.
It's going to be fun. By the end of this conversation, you will understand exactly what blood sugar is. You will understand the biological reason why it makes you feel so deeply tired in the middle of the afternoon.
And best of all, you will learn 3 incredibly simple, scientifically proven tricks to fix your energy.
Without giving up the foods you love.
Exactly.
I mean, you can still eat your favorite chocolate cake, I promise. So let's just begin at the very beginning with the star of our show. What exactly is glucose?
Well, simply put, glucose is the basic fuel of the human body. It is the fundamental source of energy that keeps, every single cell inside of us alive.
Okay, so every cell needs it.
Yes. Now, in the scientific or medical world, researchers call it glucose. But in everyday conversational English, people almost always just call it blood sugar.
Blood sugar, right.
Yeah, so when you hear your friends or your family talking about their blood sugar going up or going down, they're talking about the invisible glucose flowing through their veins.
Blood sugar. It's a very descriptive term, really.
Yeah.
To give you, the listener, a physical example of how this works right now, I actually want you to try something with me.
Oh, I like interactive examples.
Yeah, so wherever you are sitting or standing right now, I want you to just raise your hand and make a tight fist. Just squeeze your fingers together into a hard ball.
Okay, I'm doing it too.
Awesome. Now, to make that very simple movement, just to squeeze your hand, the muscle fibers in your arm and your hand are actively burning glucose.
Right at this very second.
Exactly. They are using blood sugar for energy right now, just to hold that fist.
And, it goes far beyond just physical movement. Even as you are listening to this audio, as you are focusing on our voices and working to understand the English words we are speaking, the tiny cells inside your brain are burning an enormous amount of glucose.
Just to listen and understand.
Yes, the human brain actually demands about 20% of all the glucose in your body, just to keep you thinking and learning and breathing. It is the absolute fuel of life.
Wow, 20% just for the brain. That's huge.
We cannot survive a single day without it.
Which naturally leads to, the most important question, where does this fuel come from? Because our bodies don't just pull it out of thin air.
Right. No, we get glucose entirely from the food we eat. And specifically, we get it from 2 main categories of food.
Okay, what are they?
Starches and sugars.
Okay, I'm looking at our notes here on starches. So we're talking about things like bread, pasta, white rice, potatoes, and oats.
Exactly. Those are all starches.
It's kind of wild to me that the body treats a plain, earthy baked potato the exact same way it treats a sweet dessert. Because, when I eat a piece of bread, it certainly doesn't taste like sugar.
It doesn't taste sweet on your tongue, no. But we have to look at what happens after you swallow it.
Okay, so what happens down there?
Well, a starch is essentially just a very long chain of glucose molecules all attached
It's
together.
like a chain.
Yeah, imagine a long necklace made of hundreds of tiny beads. When you put a piece of bread or a potato in your mouth, your digestive system starts working immediately.
Right.
The enzymes in your mouth and in your stomach, they act like tiny scissors. They literally cut that long necklace apart. They break the starch down into individual beads.
Oh, I see. And those beads are...
Those individual beads are pure glucose. So within a very short time after eating that plain piece of bread, your bloodstream is actually filled with sugar.
Wow. So even if it doesn't trigger the sweet sensors on my tongue, my stomach just turns it into sugar anyway.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so that's starches. What about the second category?
The second category is actual sugars. These are the foods that do taste sweet right
Like
away.
the obvious ones.
Exactly. This includes natural whole foods like a sweet red apple, a handful of grapes, or a ripe banana.
Hmm.
But it also includes heavily processed foods like a slice of chocolate cake, a piece of hard candy, or a can of soda.
So it doesn't matter where it starts.
No. Whether it comes from a potato, an apple, or a candy bar, it all eventually becomes glucose in the blood.
Okay, let me push back on this for a moment because I want to make sure I'm following the core logic here.
Sure. Go ahead.
If glucose is the main fuel that gives us energy, and we get glucose from eating starches and sugars,
Yes.
shouldn't we just eat as much sugar and starch as humanly possible?
Ah, I see where you're going.
I mean, if I have a really busy day at work and I want to have maximum energy, it seems completely logical that I should just eat a giant bowl of pasta and a huge slice of chocolate cake for breakfast.
It sounds logical, yes.
It sounds like putting more gasoline into a car. More fuel means the car can drive further and faster.
It is a very common assumption, but it's actually a dangerous misunderstanding of how human biology functions.
Really? Why?
Because the human body is not a metal gas tank where you can just pour in unlimited fuel. To truly understand our bodies, we should think about a houseplant instead.
A houseplant.
Okay.
Okay, I'm picturing a little green fern sitting in a pot by a sunny window.
Perfect. Now, that houseplant absolutely needs water to survive, right?
Yes, of course.
If you don't give it any water at all, the leaves will turn brown and the plant will dry up and die. So you give it a little bit of water every few days.
Right, you water it normally.
Exactly. The soil absorbs the water slowly, the roots drink it up, and the plant grows beautifully. But what happens if you take 10 heavy buckets of water and you dump all of them onto that small potted plant at the exact same time?
Oh, well, the plant is going to be completely destroyed. I mean, the dirt will flood over the edges of the pot, the water will just sit there, and eventually the roots of the plant will rot under all that water.
Yes.
The plant will die, not from a lack of water, but from basically drowning in it.
Drowning is the perfect word. It's too much of a good thing delivered far too quickly.
Oh, I see.
The human body is exactly the same with glucose. We absolutely need some glucose to function, just like the plant needs some water.
But if we dump too much...
If you dump a massive amount of sugar and starch into your digestive system all at once, your internal systems just flood.
Wow.
The roots begin to rot, biologically speaking. When you flood your system like this, you force your body onto what health experts call a glucose roller coaster.
The glucose roller coaster. Okay, this is actually a great moment to highlight our first vocabulary term today.
Yes, let's do that.
For anyone learning English, a roller coaster is a very fast, exciting, and sometimes terrifying ride at an amusement park.
Yeah.
You sit in a little metal cart that's attached to a track.
Right, like at Disneyland or something.
Exactly. And the cart slowly climbs very, very high up into the air, and then suddenly it drops down at a terrifying speed. It goes up and down, just throwing you around the whole time.
So when doctors or nutritionists say you are on a glucose roller coaster, they are using that amusement park ride as a metaphor for your blood.
A metaphor, right?
They mean that the level of sugar in your bloodstream is shooting straight up very fast. In English, we call that sudden, sharp rise a spike. Yes. And then shortly after that spike, your blood sugar falls down very quickly. And we call that sudden drop a crash.
Spike and crash.
Spike and crash.
Yeah.
Up and down violently, just like the ride.
But unlike a theme park ride, this internal roller coaster doesn't feel fun or exciting at all, does it?
No, it feels terrible.
What does it actually feel like inside the body when our blood sugar is spiking and crashing multiple times a day?
Well, it creates a sense of constant physical misery. The symptoms of being trapped on this roller coaster are very specific. First, you experience intense cravings for food, especially sweet foods. Your brain just demands sugar constantly.
Oh, I know that feeling well.
Second, it causes something we call brain fog.
Brain fog.
Yeah, this is a feeling where you simply cannot focus your thoughts. Your mind feels cloudy, heavy, and slow. You might, read the exact same sentence in an email 3 times and still not understand what it said.
Oh, wow. Yes, I've absolutely had days like that at the office.
Third, it causes chronic fatigue. This means you feel deeply tired all the time, from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep, no matter how many hours of rest you get.
Yeah, that sounds miserable.
It is. And finally, and I think this is the most surprising for many people, being on this roller coaster causes faster physical aging.
Wait, faster aging.
Yes.
Okay, I understand the fatigue, and the brain fog makes sense if the fuel system is broken, like we said. But you're telling me that eating too much sugar actually makes the human body get old faster?
That is exactly what I'm saying.
This sounds like a science fiction movie.
It really sounds like fiction, but it is pure biology. It physically ages your cells, and it ages them rapidly.
I need to understand this.
Of course. To truly understand why this happens, we need to go deeper. We need to kind of look under a microscope and see exactly what is happening inside your human cells during a blood sugar spike.
Let's do it.
The sources outline 3 major biological mechanisms that occur when you flood your body with too much glucose.
Okay, let's explore these mechanisms in really close detail, because I don't just want to know what happens, I want to know exactly how it works.
Right.
So our blood is flooded with sugar. The roller coaster goes up. What is the very first biological mechanism that triggers?
The first mechanism involves a tiny, fascinating structure inside our cells called the mitochondria.
Mitochondria. Now, that is a word I remember learning in high school science class.
Most people do.
Yeah, the teacher always called them the powerhouse of the cell.
That's the classic textbook definition, and it's actually very accurate. You have trillions of cells in your body, and almost every single one of them contains these mitochondria.
Trillions of them.
Yes. They are like microscopic engines. Their entire job, every second of the day, is to take the glucose from your blood and transform it into usable energy.
Cool.
Normally, if glucose enters the cell slowly and steadily, they do a wonderful job. They just hum along quietly, providing you with a nice, steady stream of energy all day long.
So what changes when a massive spike hits them? Like when I drink a huge soda?
Well, when a massive spike of glucose floods into the cell, these tiny engines get completely overwhelmed by the volume.
Overwhelmed, like a houseplant.
Exactly. Imagine a worker in an office whose job is to read documents and file them away in a cabinet.
Okay, I'm picturing an office worker.
If you hand that worker one document every 10 minutes, they work perfectly all day long, right?
Yeah, that's an easy pace.
But if you suddenly dump a box of 10,000 documents on their desk and yell, "File these right now," what happens?
Well, the worker panics. I mean, they can't process 10,000 documents at once. They freeze up, and they probably just quit their job and walk straight out the door.
That is exactly what happens to your mitochondria.
They quit.
They get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of sugar. When this happens, they don't just struggle to keep up, they actually fail. They start producing unstable molecules called free radicals.
Free radicals.
Yeah.
Sounds bad.
It is bad. These free radicals cause chaos and damage inside the cell. So, to protect itself from this damage, the mitochondria simply freeze. They shut down the energy production line. They essentially go on strike.
And when the engines go on strike, the body stops producing energy entirely.
Precisely.
Wow. This leads us perfectly to a fantastic vocabulary word for our learners. Counterintuitive.
Oh, that's a great word to explain here.
Yeah. So if something is intuitive, it makes natural sense. It feels right. For example, it is intuitive that if you stand outside in the rain, you will get wet.
Right.
But if something is counterintuitive, it means it goes completely against what our common sense expects to happen. It produces the exact opposite result of what you thought would happen.
And the reaction of our mitochondria is deeply counterintuitive.
Right, because common sense tells us that eating a lot of sugar will give us a massive boost of energy.
But the biological reality is the exact opposite. Because the massive flood of sugar overwhelms the engines and causes them to shut down and go on strike, eating a huge amount of sugar actually leaves you chronically deeply tired.
So you are consuming high-energy food, but you feel totally exhausted.
Yes. That explains the chronic fatigue symptom. You eat energy, but your body refuses to process it.
Okay, so our energy engines shut down,
Yeah.
but that doesn't explain the physical aging part?
No, it doesn't.
Because if the cells aren't producing energy, what is all that excess sugar actually doing? Well, it just sits there in the bloodstream. I mean, it doesn't just vanish.
No, it doesn't vanish. And that brings us directly to the second biological mechanism. This is where we get to the really shocking symptom of faster aging.
Okay, I'm ready.
The scientific name for this biological process is glycation. But to make it very easy to visualize in your mind, we can simply call it cooking.
Cooking, like putting raw food into a hot oven to bake.
Yes, exactly like that. The sources provide a very vivid image to explain this concept. I want you to imagine taking a raw chicken.
A raw chicken, okay.
When a chicken is raw, the meat is pink, right? It is soft, it's flexible, and it's full of moisture.
Yeah.
Now, imagine you put that raw chicken into a hot oven. Over the next hour or two as it cooks, what physical changes happen to the meat?
Well, the heat transforms it completely. The outside skin turns dark brown, and the meat itself becomes firm, stiff, and much less flexible than before.
Right. That transformation, that browning process, is actually a chemical reaction, and scientists call it the Maillard reaction in
A
cooking.
Maillard reaction, okay.
But when a very similar browning process happens inside the human body, we call it glycation.
Inside the body.
Yes. And here is the shocking truth. From the very day we are born, human beings are slowly cooking inside. Because our bodies are warm and because there's always some sugar in our blood, we are slowly browning as we age.
You are saying we are cooking in our own internal ovens just by being alive?
We absolutely are. To give you a real medical example of how doctors see this.
Please do.
If a surgeon looks at the cartilage, the soft, flexible tissue in your joints.
Right, like in your knees?
Yeah. If a surgeon looks at the cartilage of a newborn baby, that cartilage is pure, bright white.
Okay.
But if a surgeon looks at the cartilage of a person who is 100 years old, that cartilage is dark brown. It has slowly cooked over a century.
Wow. That is a mind-blowing fact. And listeners, mind-blowing is a great informal English phrase you will hear native speakers use very often.
It fits perfectly here.
It does. When you say something is mind-blowing, you mean it is so incredibly surprising, so shocking, that it feels like your mind is literally exploding with amazement.
It is mind-blowing to think that we are slowly turning brown inside as we get older.
It really is. But what does this have to do with the glucose roller coaster? I mean, how does sugar make the cooking faster?
Well, the word glycation actually shares the exact same root origin as the word glucose.
Oh, I see that.
Here is the connection. The temperature of your internal oven doesn't really change, right? Your body temperature stays basically the same.
Right, around 98 degrees.
But the amount of sugar in your blood does change. Every single time you experience a blood sugar spike, you are essentially turning up the speed of that cooking process.
Oh, no.
The excess glucose molecules in your blood bump into the proteins in your body, and they permanently attach themselves to those proteins.
So the sugar physically sticks to the parts of my body,
Yes. And when sugar sticks to a protein, it makes that protein stiff and rigid.
just like the cooked chicken.
Exactly like the cooked chicken. Think about the skin on your face. Your skin stays tight and bouncy because of a protein called collagen.
Right. People talk about collagen for anti-aging all the time.
Yes, and here is why. When a glucose spike happens, the sugar molecules bind to that collagen. The collagen loses its flexibility, it becomes stiff. And when stiff collagen bends, it snaps.
It snaps.
Yes, and that is exactly how a wrinkle is formed.
Wait, really? So a wrinkle is actually glycated or cooked collagen?
Exactly. The more glucose spikes you have, the faster you cook. This shows up on the outside of your body as wrinkles and sagging skin.
Wow.
And it shows up on the inside as the aging and stiffening of your blood vessels and your internal organs. You are physically accelerating the aging process with every huge sugar spike.
That is genuinely terrifying.
It's a lot to process, I know.
Okay, so the glucose roller coaster stops our energy engines, leaving us exhausted, and it rapidly cooks our proteins, causing us to age faster and get wrinkles. That is a massive amount of damage. Doesn't the body try to defend itself at some point? What is the third mechanism?
The third mechanism is exactly that. The body's defense system, which leads to inflammation.
Inflammation.
Yes. Whenever these massive glucose spikes happen, they cause a tremendous amount of internal stress. The free radicals from the overwhelmed mitochondria are damaging cells. The glycation is stiffening tissues.
So the body's just under attack.
Right. The body detects all this damage and reacts by creating inflammation.
Now, inflammation is a word we hear constantly in health news today. I mean, if I cut my finger with a knife while chopping vegetables, the area gets red hot and swollen. That's inflammation, right?
Yes, it is.
And that's supposed to be a good thing. It heals the cut.
Right. Short-term inflammation is a healthy, totally natural healing response. But when you are on the glucose roller coaster, experiencing spikes multiple times a day, every single day, the inflammation never turns off.
Oh, I see.
It becomes chronic. And chronic constant inflammation is incredibly dangerous. It is like having a fire burning inside your body that you can never extinguish.
Fire that never goes out.
Exactly. In fact, today, 3 out of every 5 deaths globally are related to diseases driven by chronic inflammation, such as heart disease, stroke, and certain cancers.
3 out of 5 deaths. That is staggering. So our bodies are under severe attack from this sugar stress. How does the body try to put out the fire?
Well, to save you from this dangerous floating sugar, an organ in your belly called the pancreas detects the high blood sugar.
The pancreas, okay.
The pancreas immediately releases a special hormone to deal with the crisis. This hormone is called insulin.
Insulin. Okay, we hear that word associated with diabetes a lot.
Yes, very often.
I like to imagine insulin as the body's emergency cleanup crew.
That's a great way to picture it.
Yeah, like when there's a giant mess of sugar causing damage in the bloodstream, the insulin cleanup crew rushes out. Their only job is to grab all that extra dangerous sugar and hide it away somewhere safe, just getting it out of the blood so it can't cause any more glycation or inflammation.
That is a perfect analogy. The insulin cleanup crew grabs the sugar and removes it from the blood. But this creates a completely new problem.
What problem?
Where do they put it? They can't just make the sugar disappear into thin air. They have to store it somewhere inside your body.
Right, the sugar still exists. It has to go somewhere. So where does the crew hide it?
There is an order of operations. First, insulin tries to pack the extra sugar into your liver.
Okay, the liver.
But the liver is small and gets full very quickly. Next, insulin tries to pack the sugar into your muscles.
That sounds good.
It is, but unless you are running a marathon or lifting heavy weights right at that exact moment, your muscles are probably full too.
So the liver is full, the muscles are full. What's the final hiding place?
When the liver and muscles are full, the insulin cleanup crew has only one option left. They start packing the excess sugar into your fat cells.
And as they pack more and more sugar into the fat cells,
Yes.
those fat cells have to physically expand to hold it all.
Exactly. Over time, year after year, this constant process of the insulin cleanup crew hiding excess sugar in your fat cells is the primary driver of unwanted weight gain.
Wow.
And there's a darker consequence, too.
What's that?
If your pancreas has to keep pumping out huge emergency amounts of insulin every single day to deal with the roller coaster, the system eventually breaks down.
The crew gets tired.
Basically, yes.
Huh.
Your cells stop responding to the cleanup crew. They get tired of the constant insulin knocking on the door. This is called insulin resistance, and it is the direct pathway to developing type 2 diabetes.
Okay, let's take a breath here. Because this is a lot of intense biology.
It is a lot, I know.
But the picture is becoming very, very clear. The sugar overwhelms our mitochondria, so we feel chronically tired. The sugar causes glycation, which physically cooks our tissues and creates wrinkles. And the sugar causes chronic inflammation, which forces insulin to hide the excess energy as fat.
You've got it perfectly.
The biological chain reaction makes total sense, but this raises a very practical question for me.
What's that?
Where is all this hidden sugar coming from in our daily lives? I mean, I know eating a bag of candy is bad, but most normal people aren't sitting at their desks eating lollipops all day.
Right, they aren't.
So why are so many normal people trapped on this glucose roller coaster?
That is the most crucial question we can ask. And the answer is that the sugar is hiding in foods that we have been told for decades are completely healthy for us.
Healthy foods.
Yes. To find the main culprit, we need to look at how we start our day. We need to look at breakfast. The typical modern, quote-unquote, healthy morning meal is very often a massive sugar bomb.
A sugar bomb, meaning it just explodes with glucose the moment it hits your stomach.
Exactly.
What kinds of typical breakfast foods are we talking about here?
We are talking about the basic staples of the modern morning. A large glass of orange juice, a bowl of breakfast cereal, pieces of toast spread with sweet fruit jam, or even a blended fruit smoothie.
Wait, really?
Yes. For a very long time, food marketing has convinced us that because fruit is a natural product from the earth, fruit juice must be the absolute healthiest way to start the day.
It's true. I mean, if I pour myself a big glass of organic, expensive orange juice in the morning, I feel proud. I feel like I am making a very healthy, responsible choice for my body.
It feels healthy because of the marketing.
Mm.
But biologically speaking, your internal organs do not care about the label on the bottle.
They don't.
No. Your body cannot tell the difference between a glucose molecule from an organic, freshly squeezed orange and a glucose molecule from a can of highly processed Coca-Cola.
Are you serious?
Totally serious. Once it reaches your digestive system, sugar is simply sugar.
But wait, I have to push back on this. Because eating fruit is healthy, right?
Hmm.
Doctors are always telling us to eat more fruit.
Yes, eating a whole, fresh piece of fruit is very healthy. And the key word there is whole.
Whole fruit.
Right. When you eat a whole orange or a whole apple, you are eating the sugar, yes, but you are also eating the fiber.
Fiber.
Fiber is the tough, stringy, structural part of the plant. When you chew and swallow a whole orange, the fiber travels into your stomach with the sugar.
Okay, so they go down together.
Yes, and that fiber acts like a net. It significantly slows down the digestion process. Because of the fiber, the sugar from the whole orange enters your bloodstream very, very slowly. Drop by drop, there is no spike.
So the whole fruit actually protects you from its own sugar.
Exactly. It has a built-in defense system.
Yeah.
But let's look at what happens when you make juice.
Okay.
You take 5 whole oranges, you squeeze all the sweet liquid sugar out of them, and then you throw all the tough protective fiber away in the garbage. You are left with a glass of concentrated sugar water. Without the fiber there to slow things down in your stomach, drinking a glass of orange juice is absorbed instantly. It is a direct, unfiltered injection of pure glucose straight into your bloodstream.
A direct injection. Wow. So let's say I wake up feeling fine. I eat my healthy-looking bowl of oatmeal topped with a little honey, and I drink a big glass of fruit juice. My blood sugar just spikes straight up like a rocket.
Yes. Your body experiences a massive spike. And biology dictates that what goes up incredibly fast must come down incredibly fast.
A roller coaster drop.
Exactly. Your body releases a flood of insulin to clean up the mess. The insulin pulls all the sugar out of your blood very quickly, and that rapid drop means that by 10:30 in the morning, you experience the crash.
I know that 10:30 a.m. crash perfectly, and I think everyone listening knows it too.
It's very common.
You are sitting at your desk at work. Suddenly, your eyelids feel incredibly heavy. You stare at your computer screen, but you just can't focus on the words. You feel this hollow, empty feeling in your stomach, and your brain starts screaming at you that you need to go to the office kitchen and find a donut or a muffin or a chocolate biscuit immediately.
Yes. And I want to be clear about something. That intense craving isn't a sign that you lack personal discipline.
It's not.
No. When your blood sugar crashes so fast, it triggers a deep, ancient survival mechanism in your brain.
A survival mechanism.
Yes. There is a region in your brain we can informally call the craving center. This part of the brain evolved thousands of years ago to keep humans alive in times of famine.
Okay, I'm following.
When your blood sugar drops rapidly, this craving center panics. It interprets the sudden drop as a sign of immediate danger. It thinks, oh no, there is no fuel left. We are going to starve to death. And it commands you to find high-calorie, sweet foods immediately to survive the emergency.
Wait, so you're telling me I can't just fight this with willpower? When I desperately want that chocolate donut at 10:30 a.m., it's not because I have a weak personality. It's because my brain's ancient survival alarm is ringing.
That is exactly what is happening. You are fighting millions of years of evolutionary survival instincts, and you simply cannot fight biology with willpower alone. The craving center is louder and stronger than your logical mind. It will almost always win eventually.
Well, to be honest, this all sounds a little bit hopeless.
It does sound bleak at first.
Because I love sweet things.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to give up chocolate cake and fruit juice forever? Am I supposed to just eat plain steamed broccoli and boiled chicken for the rest of my life to keep my blood sugar flat?
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to live in a world without dessert.
I have wonderful news for you.
Please, I need good news.
You do not have to give up the foods you love. You do not have to live on steamed broccoli. The science of the glucose roller coaster shows us that we don't necessarily have to change what foods exist in our world. We just have to change when and how we eat them.
Oh, that is a relief.
Our sources provide 3 incredibly effective hacks or simple tricks to flatten the glucose curve without losing the joy of eating.
Okay, I am very ready for some good news after learning about the cooking and the wrinkles. What is hack number 1?
Hack number 1 is about completely changing how you start your day. You need to switch to a savory breakfast.
Let's focus on that vocabulary word for a second. Savory.
Yes, good idea.
For our listeners, savory is a word used to describe flavor. It is essentially the exact opposite of sweet.
Right.
If a food is savory, it means it is salty or rich or flavored with spices and herbs like garlic, pepper, or rosemary. A roasted chicken is savory. A bowl of salty soup is savory. A fresh strawberry is sweet. So transitioning to a savory breakfast means there should be absolutely nothing sweet on your morning plate.
Precisely. A savory breakfast is built entirely around protein and healthy fats, with perhaps some fiber.
What would that look like?
For example, a savory breakfast could be eggs cooked in olive oil with some tomatoes. It could be a piece of tofu with spinach. It could be plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt topped with almonds. In many cultures around the world, breakfast is already naturally savory.
Like where?
Well, in Japan, a traditional breakfast might be grilled fish and miso soup. You could even just eat leftover chicken and vegetables from your dinner the night before.
Wait, so no fruit juice at all? No honey stirred into my morning tea? No sweet fruits on the side?
No sweet things at all for your very first meal. If you want carbohydrates, you can have a slice of dark, whole grain bread, but the primary focus of the meal must be the protein and the fat.
And what is the biological reason for this?
It's simple. Protein and fat do not spike your blood sugar. They digest very, very slowly. When you start your day with a savory meal, your energy line stays completely flat and steady. You completely avoid the morning spike.
And because there is no massive morning spike.
There is no massive drop, which means you completely avoid the 10:30 a.m. crash, the brain fog, and the intense, uncontrollable cravings.
Okay, I can do that. I love eggs and avocado, so a savory breakfast sounds great. But what about my love for sweet things? When do I get to eat my chocolate cake?
That brings us to hack number 2. You can absolutely still eat your sweets, but you must treat them strictly as a dessert.
A dessert. Meaning I only eat the sweet thing after I have finished a main meal.
Yes, you can eat the chocolate cake or the sweet cookie or even drink the fruit juice, but you must consume it after you have eaten your lunch or your dinner. You should never, ever eat a sweet thing by itself on an empty stomach as a standalone snack.
Let me try to understand the logic behind this.
Yeah.
Because a chocolate cookie is a chocolate cookie, right?
Right.
It contains the exact same amount of sugar at 3:00 p.m. as it does at 7:00 p.m. Why does the time of day change how my physical body reacts to the sugar in the cookie?
It isn't about the time on the clock. It is about the physical environment inside your stomach.
Oh, I see.
Imagine your stomach is an empty bowl. If you eat a cookie at 3:00 p.m. as a midday snack, that cookie falls into a completely empty stomach. Because there is no other food in there, your digestive system gets to work on it immediately.
It digests fast.
It breaks the cookie down very fast. The sugar from the cookie rushes straight out of your stomach and into your blood, creating a massive, dangerous spike.
I see. Because the stomach is empty, the sugar has a completely clear, open road into the bloodstream. There is no traffic to slow it down.
Exactly. No traffic at all. Now imagine a different scenario. Imagine you just finished eating a large, savory dinner. You had a piece of chicken, some green beans, and maybe some brown rice.
Okay.
Your stomach is now completely full of protein, fat, and fiber. If you eat the exact same chocolate cookie right after that dinner, the cookie falls into a stomach that is already full and busy working on a complex meal.
So it's stuck in traffic.
Yes. The digestion process is now very slow. The cookie gets physically mixed up with all the chicken and vegetables. As a result, the sugar from the cookie can only enter your bloodstream very, very slowly over a long period of time.
So instead of a sharp, dangerous spike, you get a gentle, flat curve of energy.
Exactly. You still get to experience the wonderful taste and pleasure of the cookie, but you protect your body from the biological damage of the roller coaster.
That makes perfect sense. Empty stomach equals a fast spike. Full stomach equals slow, safe digestion. That is a brilliant, easy rule to remember. And that logic actually connects perfectly to hack number 3, which involves the exact way we fill our stomachs during a meal.
Yes, hack number 3 is perhaps the most scientifically fascinating trick of them all. It is called the food order hack.
The food order hack.
Researchers have discovered in clinical trials that you can reduce a glucose spike by up to 75% just by eating the food on your plate in a specific sequence.
Wait, 75%? That is a massive reduction. And I don't have to eat less food to get that result. I just have to eat it in a certain order.
That's right. Just change the order.
What is the magic sequence?
The sequence is this. You must eat your vegetables first. Then you eat your proteins and fats. And finally, you eat your starches and sugars last.
Vegetables first, then meat or fat, then pasta or dessert last. Why does starting the meal with vegetables have such a powerful measurable effect on blood sugar?
It all comes down to the hidden superpower of vegetables, which we mentioned earlier, fiber.
Ah, fiber again.
Yes, when you eat vegetables first, that fiber travels down your esophagus through your stomach and enters your small intestine. Once it is there, the fiber doesn't just disappear. It actually attaches itself to the inner walls of your intestine and creates a protective, gel-like mesh.
Let's highlight the word mesh. For our listeners, think of a mesh like a net, or the screen you put over an open window to keep the bugs out. It is a woven material with lots of tiny little holes in it. So the fiber from the broccoli or the salad goes into your intestine and physically coats the walls, building this biological net.
Exactly. It builds a physical net on the inside of your body.
This reminds me of playing a video game.
A video game. How so?
It's like you send the vegetables into your body first to build a protective energy shield. Then, 10 minutes later, when you eat the pasta or the sweet dessert, the heavy sugar comes rushing down. But instead of hitting the bare, empty walls of the intestine and being absorbed into the blood instantly, the sugar hits the protective fiber shield.
Yes.
The mesh catches it. It acts like a speed bump on a fast road, slowing the sugar down so it can only slip into the bloodstream a little bit at a time.
That is a highly accurate way to visualize it. The fiber shield slows down the absorption of the starches and sugars that follow it. This is exactly why starting your lunch or dinner with a simple green salad or a side of roasted broccoli, or even just eating a few raw baby carrots before you start your main meal makes such an incredible difference to your biology.
But wait, let me push back on this just a little bit, because real-life eating isn't always that simple.
That's
What if I'm eating a mixed dish? What if I'm eating a slice of pizza, or a casserole, or a bowl of fried rice? I can't really deconstruct my meal at a restaurant and pick out the vegetables first without looking completely crazy.
That's a very practical point. And you don't need to deconstruct a slice of pizza. If you are eating a mixed meal where the carbs, fats, and proteins are all cooked together, you use what we call the clothing method.
The clothing method.
Yes, you put a coat of fiber on your stomach before you eat the pizza. You simply order a small side salad and eat that first. Or, if you are at home, you eat a handful of raw vegetables like some cucumber slices or celery 5 minutes before you eat the casserole. You send the fiber down first to build the mesh, and then you eat the mixed meal.
Oh, I see. It makes a world of difference. And listener, a world of difference is a fantastic English idiom. If something makes a world of difference, it means it causes a massive, highly noticeable improvement. It completely changes the situation for the better. Eating a small salad first makes a world of difference to how you feel after the meal, because without the huge sugar spike, you don't get that heavy, deeply sleepy feeling 90 minutes after eating lunch. You don't feel the desperate need to lie down on the sofa.
Right, you stay light, awake, and energetic throughout the entire afternoon. Now, to truly understand how all of this science fits together into our daily lives, we need to look at how the glucose roller coaster connects to our overall lifestyle. And there is one area of our lifestyle that is intimately connected to blood sugar, perhaps more than any other:
What's that?
our sleep.
Ah, sleep. The foundation of all human health. How exactly does our sleep affect our blood sugar?
There is a very strong, proven biological link between the two. When you do not get enough sleep, or when your sleep is restless and fragmented, your body actually loses its ability to regulate glucose effectively the next day.
Wait, really? The body forgets how to handle sugar just because it is tired. How does that work?
When you are sleep deprived, your body experiences physical stress. To deal with that stress, it releases a hormone called cortisol.
Cortisol, the stress hormone.
Yes. Cortisol tells your liver to pump extra glucose into your blood to give you emergency energy. At the same time, the lack of sleep makes your cells less responsive to that insulin cleanup crew we talked about earlier. Your cells become temporarily insulin resistant.
Oh, wow.
Because of this combination, more sugar from the liver and cells that won't let the sugar inside, if you eat the exact same slice of chocolate cake on a day when you are very tired, the glucose spike will be much, much larger and more damaging than if you ate that exact same cake on a day when you were perfectly well rested.
The exact same food causes more physical damage to my body just because I slept poorly the night before. That feels very unfair.
It does feel unfair, but understanding it explains a very common vicious cycle that so many people get trapped in for years.
Let's trace that cycle so we can recognize it. So it starts with a bad night of sleep. You toss and turn. Because you slept badly, your body is stressed, and your cells can't handle sugar well the next day. So Your regular meals, your normal breakfast and lunch, cause massive, unusual glucose spikes. You're at a violent roller coaster all day, feeling incredibly tired and experiencing intense cravings.
Exactly. And because you have those intense cravings driven by your brain's survival center, you eat more sugary snacks to try and stay awake at your desk.
Right. Then all those massive sugar spikes and crashes cause internal cellular stress. Your mitochondria freeze up, glycation happens, and your body creates a wave of inflammation. And because your internal body is stressed, inflamed, and still trying to process all that sugar, you can't sleep well that next night either.
Yes. The glucose roller coaster ruins your sleep quality, and then the bad sleep makes your glucose roller coaster even worse the very next day. It is a biological trap that goes round and round, compounding the damage over time.
But the beauty of the three simple hacks we learned today is that they are the exact tools you need to break this vicious cycle. You don't have to fix your entire life at once. You just start by making one small change to how you eat.
Precisely. Let us summarize those three simple, powerful adding steps for our listeners so they can start experimenting with them today.
I would love to summarize. Action step number 1. Switch to a savory breakfast. Put away the fruit juice, the honey, and the sweet box cereals. Start your morning with protein and healthy fats like eggs, tofu, yogurt, or avocado to keep your energy line perfectly flat from the very beginning of the day.
Action step number 2. Save your sweets for dessert. You do not have to give up the treats you love, but you must never eat them alone on an empty stomach. Enjoy your chocolate, your cookies, or your sweet fruits right after a savory meal when your stomach is full and can digest the sugar slowly and safely.
And action step number 3. Use the food order hack. Whenever you sit down for lunch or dinner, always eat your vegetables first. Build that protective fiber mesh in your intestine before you send down the heavier foods. Eat veggies first, then proteins and fats, and save the starches and sugars for the absolute end of the meal.
I think it is incredibly important to remind our listeners that this knowledge is a tool to help you, not a strict, rigid rule to punish you. The goal is not to be perfect 100% of the time. You will have days where you eat a sweet breakfast or you have a sugary snack on an empty stomach. That is life. The goal is simply to understand how your biology works so you can make informed choices that give you more natural energy, a clearer mind, and a better, more stable mood throughout your week.
It is about taking back control from that panicked craving center in your brain. When you understand the deep science of mitochondria, glycation, and insulin, you realize that you are not weak and you are not broken. Your body is simply reacting exactly the way a human body was evolutionarily designed to react when it is flooded with modern processed foods. And with these simple, practical hacks, you can protect yourself.
And you can learn some excellent English vocabulary at the same time. I hope words and phrases like counterintuitive, savory, mesh, a world of difference, and roller coaster are now firmly planted in your mind, supported by the science we discussed today.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you, the listener, with one final thought to mull over. Something to think about as you go about the rest of your day or the next time you walk through the aisles of a grocery store. We learned today that our human biology reacts to a glass of supposedly healthy fruit juice the exact same way it reacts to a can of sugary soda. The body does not care about the beautiful pictures of farms on the juice bottle. It only cares about the physical molecules entering the blood. So it makes you wonder, if we were so wrong about something as simple as fruit juice, what other normal, everyday, healthy habits have we completely misunderstood simply because we forgot to look at how our bodies actually work?
That is a profound and important question to consider as we continue to learn about health.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep practicing your English, keep paying attention to your wonderful, complex body, and we will see you next time.